Welcome to episode 77 of the Epilogue Lady podcast. My name is Bente and I'm coming to you from Vesterålen, northern Norway, where I live with my husband and 3 cats. You can find me on Instagram as Arctic Crafts, on Facebook and Etsy as Arctic Crafts by Bente, and on Ravelry as Arctic Crafts 65. There's also a group for the podcast on Ravelry, where you can participate in make-alongs, and there is a Ko-fi page where you can contribute to, among other things, shipping for prizes. First of all, I want to say thank you for all the amazing messages I got and all the beautiful comments on my latest Bente's Bag of Holding episodes. It was really heartwarming and it made me feel like I wasn't alone in having my issues. There are loads of people having the same issues, and it really made me feel better. So thank you so much for that. I have, the last week I actually got some dyeing done. Yesterday I started doing Halloween advents, and so there isn't a lot in this week's shop update, both because I haven't been feeling good and I've been busy, but now I have started the Halloween advents, so I can't promise you another shop update in 2 weeks. That depends on how much work I get done on the Halloween advents. But hopefully I will be finished with those during the next couple of weeks. I have decided, because the Christmas Advent, the 12 days of Christmas, isn't selling as fast as I maybe thought, or hopefully I'm going to sell all of it, so I'm going to extend the deadline for ordering them until the middle of June, I think, and then start dyeing them the beginning of July. So we'll see. I might even extend it to the end of June, depending on how many I sell. I might decide to just take them out of the shop when I've sold 10 and then start dyeing them. So if you want 12 days of Christmas, you should get it soon, because I might just cut it short before I've sold all 15 of them. And that was one thing I wanted to say on admin, and the last thing is to remind you of the tea time make-along that's running now. It runs until the end of the month, so if you're working on a short-sleeved sweater, you can still enter the make-along. You didn't have to. I said whips are allowed, but I would like you to be finished with the tea before the end of May. If you're not entirely finished, enter it. If you're almost finished, enter it. And then it will be up to me if I pull you as a prize winner, and if I find that, okay, this is acceptable, if you know what I mean. I have 3 prizes to draw in Ravelry and 1 prize to draw on Instagram. On Ravelry, the prizes are a bag made by one of my husband's co-workers. It's a really nice basket. I have a prize from Knitswag. It's a mug with your mug or wine tumbler, I think it was, personalized. So that's one of the prizes, and the main prize is 2 skeins of my fine merino fingering in the colorway Tidal Wave. The prize on Instagram is a set of stitch markers. So I showed you these prizes in an earlier episode. I'm not sure on the top of my head which episode, but that's the prizes anyway. So, and June 1st we'll start a new We'll start a new make-along, and I'll talk a bit about it now because my next podcast won't be before then. It's the same, it's the year, the traditional. I started it last year, but it's going to be a reoccurring make-along every year, as the tea time make-along is also going to be reoccurring. And the tea time, the Arctic Summer of Socks starts June 1st, and it runs until August 31st. And this year, instead of doing monthly prices, I'm going to do more prices at the end of the make-along. And August 31st, I'm going to draw the prices. And if anyone want to donate a prize, please contact me, because I would like to have loads of prizes for this make-along. And it doesn't necessarily have to be any makers that want to donate any of their yarn or their bags. If one of you wonderful subscribers have a skein of sock yarn in your stash that you don't exactly know what to do with, and it's maybe not to your taste, something you have that you just contact me, and I will be delighted to send it on to someone. And you don't have to send it to me. You could just send me a photo and you send it to the winner. So that's what I have for admin. And now we can talk about what I'm wearing. And this, I'm really love this thing. It's the Rocket Tee by Tanis Fiber Arts. And the knitted bean inspired me to finally knit this. It's been in my queue forever. And I decided to knit it in my yarn. So this is Arctic Crafts. Colorway is Mountain Stream. And I've used one skein of fine merino fingering and one skein of Suri Silk Cloud. Not sure why my brain disconnected at that moment. But I like the effect it gets when you have the same colorway. So you barely see the stripes, but you can tell that it's striped. But I really love the colors. I didn't look too good in blue before, but since I've started to turn gray, I actually look good in blue. I even bought myself a new denim skirt to match this top, because this I'm actually going to wear a lot, I think. It might be too warm in the height of summer because of the Suri Silk Cloud, but I think it's going to be a really workable top for the entire summer. So I really love this thing. And that's also one of my FOs. I have several FOs this time. One of them I forgot to show you last time. But I have 4 FOs, including this one. I'm not sure if I have anything else to say about this. I did no modifications on this. I knitted to pattern. I knitted a tiny bit shorter than the pattern. And I knitted with this, I think that I have the same amount of ease as in the pattern. And I want to knit another one. And I think I'm going to knit the other one striped. Not use Suri Silk Cloud, but use 2 different colors of merino. And I'm going to use my yarn again. And I'm going to, I know one of the colors. And I'm going to talk to you about that when I show another FO. So my next FO, I finished last night. And this is going to look very, very tiny. It looks like a dress for a toddler. But this actually fits me. It's the Ripple Camisole by Jessie Maed Designs. And as you can see, it's really stretchy, so it fits me. It's a bit shorter than the pattern, but I wanted it to reach my natural waist and not any further, because I have a lot of high-waisted jeans and high-waisted skirts. So I wanted to wear it with that. I'm going to use this summer under a white shirt or something like that. Let's see. This is the front, I think. Yeah, this is the front. So this, the only thing I did different on this, the only modification I did is that the straps are supposed to be 6 stitches. I did 8 because I wanted them to cover my bra straps. So my straps are a tiny bit wider than in the pattern. This is also knit in my yarn. I have long been thinking about I wanted to knit a garment in Polldale sock, and this is Polldale sock in the colorway Purple Rain. It's one of my favorite colorways, so I'm not sure why I never knit a garment in this before. And I caked up 2 skeins just to make sure, and I started with the second skein on the back. And because I'm stupid, I didn't alternate skeins. I'm not sure why. So you could tell I had started a new skein on the back. So I just ripped back and I weighed what I had left of the first skein and decided I actually have enough for the entire thing from 1 skein. I don't have a lot left, but 1 skein was enough. So, but I started the second skein. I frogged some of it, so I can't sell it anymore. So that's what I plan on doing for one of the colors in a striped version of the Rocket Tee. I want to use this, and I think I'm going to pair it with either a grey or maybe Nebula, because Nebula looks really good with Purple Rain, and I think I have Nebula in stock, and if I don't, I'll just dye up some Nebula and I'll put some Nebula in the shop afterwards. So this is the Ripple Camisole by Jessie Maed Designs. I tried it on yesterday and it fits perfectly, but again it looks really, really small, but it's supposed to, because it's supposed to fit you exactly. It's supposed to have loads of negative ease. So that's the Ripple Camisole. And I have another finished object that's been hanging about in hibernation for some time, and I've actually finished it. And it's the Sugar Plum Fairy Shawl by Crystal Tea Knits. Had to check my show notes. The yarn I've used for this is mainly leftovers from the Radvent cardigan I knit last year. It's all from the Harry Potter Blanket Club by Norah George. So I used the leftovers from that, and when I got at the bottom, I had to pick from my other leftover stash. So I think from there on down, it's from my mini stash. That green is from Kate Celine, and that's the first scrap I used. So I think there's some of my yarn in this as well. I'm not sure. I think some of this is carrot cake. And I ended the whole thing in a sort of a hot pink. And either I'm keeping this or I'm gifting it. I'm not sure yet. But it's really, really pretty. So I might just use this myself. I'm not a big fan of triangle shawls though, because I think they're difficult to wear. But this it's kind of summery colors. So I might wear it like this summer, over my shoulders, over a dress or something. because I think the colors are sort of summery. So, not sure. I might gift it. This is a typical example of me knitting something. I really enjoy knitting it. It was a really fun pattern to knit. And I love scrappy projects. But they tend to be just packed away and never worn. So I should start gifting shawls more often. And the last FO I'm going to show you is something I should have showed you last time, but I forgot. And it's a really big one because it's a granny stripe blanket. And this I crocheted on a 3mm hook, so it's really dense. The easiest way to show you this is perhaps to stand up and do this. The main portion of the blanket is a Norah George Advent. And as you can see, it's mirrored, it's symmetrical. It starts here and then moves out on both sides and ends with the red. This was a wrap. I knit an I crocheted an Advent wrap that I never wore because it was too big. So I frogged it and decided to use it for a blanket instead. And I did a border around it. And the border is leftovers from last year's Advent from Beehive Yarns. So this is basically 2 different Advent calendars from 2 different dyers. And I don't want to add any more to it. And it's big enough. So I decided that's it. I don't want to do anything else to this blanket. So that's the... I had to start the border twice because I had forgotten that I had to use 3mm hook. Because I normally use 3.5mm for my crochet blankets. And I couldn't understand why the border kind of was wobbly. And then I realized it's because I'm using a different size. I'm using a bigger hook for the border. So I had to frog lots of the border and start all over again. But this has been my mindless project. When I didn't feel like doing anything, and it's a really good combination with Critical Role. Because Critical Role, you don't have to watch the TV. You can just listen to them and just look up when something really exciting is happening. So, and now we have seen the entirety of campaign 1, campaign 2, and now we have caught up with campaign 3, so now we're just waiting for the new episode. And I think the new episode will be available on YouTube on Monday or something. So now we're just watching different one-shots that they did. And then I start talking about Critical Role again. That's my FOs. And since I finished the Ripple Camisole last night, I haven't got a lot of whips to show you because I haven't had the time to cast on something new yet. My next cast on will be a sweater for hubby, and I'm going to start another Rocket Tee, I think. But I'm going to cast on the sweater for hubby first. It's a sport weight wool sweater, so he's not going to start wearing it until the fall. And I also working on the Fair Isle sweater for my son. I put that away when I realized I wasn't going to get it finished this spring. I put it aside and I'm going to continue on it in the fall. And I think that maybe a Christmas present. I'm going to give that to my son as a Christmas present. So that's sort of still in hibernation and I'm in no rush to finish it. I would like to have a hubby sweater finished before school starts again in August. So there's no rush in casting that on either, but it's a wool sweater, it's sport weight, it's going to be a hot project to work on during the summer. So ideally I should finish it before before summer really hits. Not that it ever gets really hot here, and but another thing, speaking of summer, I think spring finally is here. We haven't had snow for several days, and I have started putting my seedlings out on the patio. I have made sort of a homemade greenhouse so they won't freeze to death. I have put some styrofoam underneath, and then I have a big plastic bag that I got some yarn delivered in on top. So it's kind of but just so they don't freeze to death in case we have frost. And I have several plants in my kitchen window that I'm going to put outside. I'm going to do that this weekend. I might do it when I finished recording this and then edit this tonight. Because Hobby is home today, so he's been sent to the bedroom so he can get out again when I finish recording. But I think I'm going to find some flower pots and then put out some more plants. I just have to heat up the soil first because the soil is stored outside, so it's really cold. So that's what I'm planning on doing later today. And that wasn't an epilogue, that was a tangent. Maybe I should start calling this the Tangent Lady podcast. I was going to talk about my whips. I don't have a lot of them, and I haven't been working on them the last few days because I've been working on the Ripple Camisole and the Rocket Tee, but I'm still working on the Wavemaker. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, Wavemaker by Dan Lee. It's for the knitted beans inclusion mal or inclusivity mal. Sorry, Echo. I keep getting those two. But I'm of course putting it at the bottom of the screen as well as the hashtag for Instagram. And you can also post in her Ravelry group. So this is the Wavemaker by Dan Lee, and the yarn is Silk Merino from Tanis. It's this charcoal grey, and the neon colorway is from Pew Pew Dye Dye. Pew Pew Dye Dye Dye. That's a Canadian dyer, and it was a gift from my friend Sue in Canada. So that's the Wavemaker. I have always loved neons with dark colors. I've done a slight change because these narrow stripes are supposed to be the same colorway as the waves, but this is heavy fingering, so it's not. I don't have enough yardage for the entire shawl, so I'm using a mini from Ginger Snap That, a neon pink with sparkles as the stripes. So I'm using 3 different colors in this. And this is what the Pew Pew Dye 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 looks like in the cake. And as usual, my camera struggles showing off neons. And this is the pink from Ginger Snap That. And I'll see if I can find you a yarn tag for the... I can show you the skein I haven't. Sorry, it's not, it's alpaca silk. It's not merino silk, it's alpaca silk. So it's really, really soft. So that was one of my whips, and it's in a bag from Sue with Canadian stuff on it. I love anything Canadian. As I've told you millions of times before, anything Canadian. And I have started a pair of self-striping socks to have something mindless, and I have lots of different yarns in that bag, so I'm a bit tangled. There we go. This is from Comfy Cozy Knits. It's a Christmas colorway, that I can't remember the name of. It's one of those skeins that me and Sue bought full skeins of self-striping, then divided them into 2 and sent 50 grams to... She sent me 50 grams of hers, and I sent her 50 grams of mine. And the contrast is a commercial yarn, and it's teal. It's almost the same color as the color in the yarn, as you can see in the heel. It's almost the same color. So this is Comfy Cozy Knits, and again this is a Christmas colorway, but I'm working on a Christmas sock box. I'll show you that when you're getting closer to Christmas. Maybe when this pair is finished, I can show you the box. So that's one of my whips. That's a sort of that's a long-term whip. That's typically a pair of socks. I typically have one of those in a small project bag, and I just grab it when I know I'm going to spend some time in the car, or when I'm going to a meeting. I grab that so I can have something to work on. And my last whip that I'm going to show you is, because of course when I finish one granny stripe blanket, I have to start another one. That's just who I am. I always have a granny stripe on the go. And this time I tried doing corner to corner before, but I thought it was really fiddly. So I made a small corner to corner, and it's on the couch, and it's Snape's bed. And he loves it because he loves wool. And because he has his own personal blanket, he leaves my blankets alone. So that's really wonderful. But then I realized you could do granny stripes corner to corner. And that was something completely different, because this goes just as fast as a normal granny stripe. You just have to do it a bit differently when you get to the ends. But it's really, really intuitive. I haven't checked out how to turn yet, and because I want this to be rectangular, hopefully there's a way to do it when you want to. You have to increase on one side and decrease on the other, I think, to make it rectangular. So I have to figure out how to do that, but I have loads left before I start, because one of these sides has to be as wide as I want the blanket, and I have quite a bit left to do before I get that far. And this is a true scrappy blanket. I'm just grabbing anything that's less than 20 grams. I have this thing, if it's 20 grams or more, I can use it for a sweater, or I can use it for a contrast color in socks. If it's less than 20 grams, it goes in this. So I have not started using my minis for this. I'm saving my minis. But then again, hubby gifted me Hanna from Corner of Crafts advent calendar for this year. So I know I'm getting 24 new minis in December. So I should just go through my mini stash and see if I could. I don't want the stripes to be too wide. So if I take a full mini and divide it into 2 and then repeat it later in the blanket. But I have a few minis in stash, because I subscribed to Norah George's Harry Potter Blanket Club last year. Again, a gift from hubby. And speaking of gifts from hubby, I've started walking again. I've been out walking for the last 2 days. I might go for a walk today as well. If it doesn't start raining, it looks like it might start raining later this afternoon. And he did something really clever, because he knew it would be really good for me to start walking again, because the fresh air does me a world of good. And if I haven't got anything else accomplished during the day, I at least got out of the house and went for a walk. So it doesn't feel like the day is a complete waste, if you know what I mean. And what he did, he gave me a challenge. If I manage to walk 250 kilometers before my birthday in September, he will gift me a sweater quantity of hand-dyed yarn for my birthday. Challenge accepted. And I asked him, what if I what if I finish my 250 kilometers earlier? And he said, when you pass 250 kilometers, you'll get your sweater quantity, no matter when it is. So I have that incentive to go out for walks. So that was really clever of him, because he knows if there's a yarn involved, I'll do it. Now I have an app called Runkeeper on my phone, and you can set yourself goals on that. So I've set myself the goal of 250 kilometers, and the end date is September 29th. That's my birthday. But it doesn't say anywhere that I can't finish it before then. So I'm just walking, and I won't be walking every day, but I'm thinking if I walk between 2.5 and 3 kilometers every day, I've calculated that I should be able to do this before the end of September. So we'll see. I'll probably go more for walks in the summer, but now I'm in my walking season, because I bought some special shoes for use in the winter, but it turns out that I'm not keen on walking when it's cold. I have asthma, and it didn't work. My last run was in the beginning of December, and then I haven't done anything like that during the entire winter. So I'm not running yet. I'm just walking, because I need to get into it again. That's it for knitting. And I've already mentioned the life stuff. We went to, I could tell you that the pop-up shop in the shopping center, it wasn't, I didn't have a lot of sales, but it wasn't as bad as I anticipated when it comes to anxiety. I got to talk to a lot of people. I got to hand out my business card to a lot of people. And so it's kind of, it's about being visible as well, so people know that I exist. So that's kind of one of the ideas. The Eurovision party was just as anxiety-ridden as I thought it would be. So I was totally exhausted on Sunday after that. And I decided to take Monday off, and I was planning on dyeing yarn on Tuesday. Then I realized that the Tuesday was May 17th, and that's Constitution Day. So I got 2 days off, and I started dyeing on Wednesday. So I think that's it for life stuff. I'm going to start dyeing again on Tuesday, I think, and then I'm going to start. I dyed 3 Halloween Advent colors yesterday, and I think I can dye up to 5 different colors in a day, because I only have 10 of each color. I'm so impressed when people dye up 100 advent calendars. I'm never going to get there, I think, because I only have the kitchen stove to dye on, and I can't dye for more than about 7 or 8 hours at a time. So I'm never going to be able to produce that many. And I struggle selling 15. So I see no reason why I should set myself a goal of dyeing any more than 15. This year I bought the yarn in advance. I ordered yarn for both the Halloween Advent and the Christmas Advent at the same time. So I have all the yarn. That's why I can postpone the deadline for buying the 12 Days of Christmas until the middle of June. maybe even the end of June, because I already have the yarn. So that's it for life stuff. And today I actually did several epilogues before the end of the podcast, so I'll try not to do an epilogue today. I'll just do the shameless self-promotion. And I'm struggling getting used to this setup again, because the computer is standing on a chair that's kind of wobbly. So I try not to touch it so you don't get seasick, but I'll do my best. So I haven't got a lot of stuff for the shop update this time. I dyed up 2 skeins of neon lights, self-striping on BFL. That's going into the shop on Sunday. I have 1 skein of a mountain stream on fine merino fingering. I dyed up 2 skeins for this sweater. I only needed 1. So the second skein is going into the shop, and I have Surrey Silk Cloud on mountain stream in the shop. So if you really love this and want one that looks the same, now you can get this and a skein of Surrey Silk Cloud, and you'll have enough yarn for the Rocket Sea, at least my size. This is a medium, I think. And now I'm going to talk a bit about the yarn I dyed up because of the all the beautiful comments I got after my last Bente's Bag of Holding episode. And this is something I dyed up almost 2 years ago, because it was the same issue basically, and I got a lot of beautiful messages, and I came up with a colorway that I called Knitters Make the Best Friends. And this is it. And I'm so sorry. And I have it on merino, fine merino sock and Polldale sock. And the thought behind this is that the original, I tweaked this a tiny bit. In the original, this was black. In this, it's dark gray. And I also washed the entire thing in a light gray at the end. So it's not white, if you know what I mean. It's sort of, it's got a gray glaze, if that's a word I can use when it comes to yarn dyeing. And then all the speckles in all the different colors are all the knitters in our really diverse community. That's why I have lots of different colors. And the colors I've chosen based on the favorite colors of some of my best friends. And my favorite color is also in here. That's where the purple is from. And it's green is the dominant color, because green is Sue, Craft and Knitter 7's favorite color. And she's my bestie. So that's why there's more green in this than any other color. So that's Knitters Make the Best Friends. And I have 2 skeins on fine merino sock and 2 skeins on Polldale sock. And I probably won't dye up more of these up, because this is sort of a thank you. And I don't want to dye this up willy-nilly, if you know what I mean. So I have the 4 skeins of this going into the shop on Sunday. And then I have another recurring thing going into the shop on Sunday that I dye up every year at the middle or end of May. And it's my rainbow mini sets. This is a true rainbow, because I have, see if I can hold them in the right order without losing the grip on them. So this is a true rainbow because I have all 7 colors. And I put this in the shop end of May every year for Pride Month, because June is Pride Month. So I put these rainbow mini sets into the shop. And they have loads of different uses. A local customer knit a pair of socks for her daughter in this. And she paired it with a white, so she had the tiny white stripe between the colors. And those socks were really, really pretty. And you can also buy them to use them for contrast color heels, toes and cuffs on socks instead of using them together. So there's plenty of uses for these rainbow mini sets. I've been thinking about maybe dyeing one for myself and use it for a hat or something, but I'm not sure. There might be more of these next year if I don't sell enough advents, because then I will be stuck with loads of minis. So maybe more mini sets is in my future, depending on how many Christmas advents I sell. I have a few recurring mini sets that I have. Maybe I'll make a mini set for Halloween this year. And I have a mini set that's going to come out in the fall as well, Fall Symphony. So hopefully I can use the minis that I have extra if I don't sell enough advents. So that's the shop update. So this might not be long. Where am I on time? I can't figure it out. It doesn't say anywhere. Or it probably says somewhere, but let's see. Oh, I've been talking for 45 minutes. So maybe this isn't a short one after all. So I'll go tell hubby he can come back in the living room and then spend an hour or more cleaning up my mess, because I'm back in my summer recording spot. This is where I'm going to record until maybe September or October, because this is the place in the living room where the light is absolutely perfect for recording this time of year, because there's no direct sunlight on me, but it's really light. So this is where I'm going to record from now on for a few months. I don't have any plans for, I'm not sure what I'm going to do for when it comes to Bente's bag of holding. There's nothing special happening that I know of. So there might not be another Bente's bag of holding episode for the next 2 weeks. I might do one when the Arctic Summer of Socks kicks off. Maybe I'll do a short one on June 1st. We'll see. But let's see, June 1st, that's I have my next podcast. Let's check my next podcast. This is so boring for you. I just have to check my calendar. And that won't work. Let's see. My next podcast is on the 3rd of June. So I might not do an extra Bente's bag of holding about the Arctic Summer of Socks. Because I'm drawing prizes for the Tea Time Mal on the 1st of June, June 1st, the same day that Arctic Summer of Socks starts. And if my next podcast is on the 3rd, I won't be announcing any winners until the 3rd. So, this is me deciding stuff on camera. That's typical. But if you've been here before, you know that I tend to do things this way. So, that's it for episode 77. I'll see you in 2 weeks. And yes, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Not before, unless something happens. So I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye bye.